Hey guys, how's it going? If you didn't see my last video, make sure you check that one out because it was kind of a bombshell that I dropped. Kind of bit of news there about me selling the van. So yeah, if that's the first you're hearing about it, make sure you watch my last video and I explain all of that. But before I sell the van, as I said in that video, I've got some more tips that I want to share with you guys. So I had a couple of video ideas of things that I've been wanting to film for a while that I thought I'll make the most of the time that I have with the van and yeah, film these videos. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my fridge and kind of why I think you should have a fridge if you're going to live the van life, because a lot of people out there will either use a cooler or they'll just have dry food or packaged food or whatever. Which is fine if that's what you want to do, but this is my opinion on fridges, and this is why I wouldn't live in a van without one, particularly if you're living in the van long term. So this is my fridge. If you haven't seen it before, it's a Waco, which if you're in the States is actually called Dometic, I think. This model here is a CFX 50. I couldn't find one on Amazon when I was making my Amazon store on BecauseiVan.com, so I got the closest one to it, which is a CF50. The CF50 is kind of like the model down from this. This one's a bit more efficient, has a few more features and stuff. But yeah, it's awesome fridge. I'd recommend it to anyone. It is expensive though. When I bought it, I paid about $1,100 for it. That's Australian dollars. I don't know what it would be elsewhere. I don't even know if you can get it overseas, but it's never let me down once. It just goes, and it's so efficient. It runs off the battery, and yeah, it's never drained the battery before, just running off solar. Yeah, so anyway, some of the reasons that I would have a fridge, I mean, one of the big ones is that you can cook your own food, so that allows you to save a lot of money. I mean, obviously you could go and eat out all the time, but I mean, if you're living this lifestyle, then the majority of you will probably be trying to live cheaper, because I know I was, or I am. But yeah, it sort of allows you to cook your own food. You don't have to eat out so much, so you're not relying on fast food or anything like that, which is kind of brings me on to the next tip. A lot of the healthier food is fresh food, so like vegetables and fruit and meat, and that sort of stuff will keep a lot longer if you refrigerate it. So if you want to be healthier, you're better off not eating all the processed crap all the time. So yeah, having a fridge allows you to eat healthier, allows you to save money. It also means that you can be self-sufficient for longer. So if you're like, let's say you want to go out and camp in the forest for a couple of days, if you've only got sort of dry food storage, or you don't have a fridge, you've only got a cooler or something like that, after the first day you're kind of going to be running out of food, or your food's going to be going off. But with a fridge, you can, I mean, depending on how big the fridge is, you could be out there for a week and be fine. So that's kind of a big deal. The other thing that it allows you to do, which I think is really important with vanning and has been something that I've had to try and perfect, is it allows you to cook more than one meal at a time, because you can then, you can cook extra and store it in the fridge. Now the reason that's kind of a big deal is because everything's just that little bit harder in a van, so it takes a little bit longer to perform tasks. So if you want to cook food, it's a little bit more effort than if you were living in a house. So you don't want to be doing that, for 2 or 3 meals a day. So if you can cook enough for 3 or 4 meals and then store it in the fridge, then you don't have to get the stove out anywhere near as often. And that's a huge thing. That's something that really helped me out, and once you live in a van, you get to know what it's like, and you start to make all these little kind of adjustments and adapt the way that you live to make it more efficient and less time wasting. So that's probably what I'd say as far as having the fridge. It's kind of essential, in my opinion, for long-term van living. if you're just going away for the weekend and it's a hobby thing, then you probably don't need a fridge. But for anyone that wants to live in the van or go away on a long trip and travel for a long time, then just like, it's worth the money for sure. So yeah, I'll show you inside my fridge. As I said, it's a Waco CFX 50, and on this side you've got the temperature and all the controllers. You open it up, it's got a little LED light. I've actually cleared it out so I can show you inside it. But yeah, it's 50 litres. You can get different sizes. Being the CFX 50, it's a 50 litre. You can get all different ones though, I think anywhere from like a 35 up to an 80 or something. But yeah, plenty of storage. You can take the divider out if you want to. You can take that whole cage out to clean it. It's got a little plug at the bottom to drain it if you want to. It's basically designed to almost be able to hose it out pretty much. Yeah, it can also function as a freezer as well, but it can only be like a fridge or a freezer. It can't be both at the same time, but I don't freeze anything anyway, so it wasn't a problem for me. If you did want a fridge and a freezer, they do the CFX, I think it's a 65 DZ, which stands for dual zone, and it's got a divider that you can put in it, and half can be a freezer and half can be a fridge. It uses more power though, and to be honest with you, I don't use the freezer like I said, so it wasn't such a big deal. So hopefully that helps out anyone that's thinking about getting a fridge. I'd say it's worth it, particularly in my case. And as far as power consumption, this thing runs off either shore power or off 12 volt, and on 12 volt at 32 degrees Celsius with the internal temperature set at 5 degrees Celsius, it's supposed to use 0.77 amps an hour on average, and I'd say it's probably pretty true. I actually bought this fridge because I read a magazine review in a four-wheel drive magazine, and they said that this was the most efficient fridge that they tested, and they tested all the major brands. So yeah, it's been awesome for me. Hopefully that helps. See you next time.